Welcome, everyone, to Influential Leadership Tips. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm John Hadley. Dave, I was reading something that really struck me. I liked this message. And it came from the former CEO, or actually could be current, chief executive of Accenture. I didn't look up to see if he's still the executive. But he was interviewing at Babson College back a couple decades. Last interview of the day on a Friday, and this kid comes in, and all the resume shows is they studied finance at Babson, no sports, no clubs, and worked at Sam's Diner. So now everyone else who'd been coming in, they'd been strutting their stuff, they'd been showing portfolios. So I just asked this kid, so what have you been doing here? And he said, nothing. I work at Sam's Diner. It's a family business. I leave here on a Friday and I go work there till closing. I work all day Saturday until closing. And Sundays I work until I close it up, then I drive back to Babson.
Wow.
And his reaction was he immediately wrote on the resume, hire him. Because he saw quality there. He saw work ethic. And the way he described it was, you sacrifice and you're a victim, or you sacrifice because it's the right thing to do and you have pride in it. And that's a huge difference. And I really like that. Here's someone who he owned his job. He didn't complain about it. He didn't, oh, woe is me, I can't do all these other things. He said, this is what I need to do right now. And in work, so often we see people, they get an assignment they aren't excited about. They get moved into a job that they really weren't looking for. And some people, when that happens, they're always griping. They're complaining, oh, woe is me. Why did I get this? This isn't moving me forward. It's not what I wanted to do. Or they embrace it and they say, let me make the most of this, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I had a client I was working with who faced this. She'd been moved into a role that she really wasn't looking for, wasn't excited about, out of the role that she loved to do. And she reached out and we started working on, what she could do. And the first thing was really find a way to make the most of this job, master it, see what you can get out of it that's going to move your career forward in interesting ways. And if you see over time that it can't do that, yeah, it's time to find a way to move back to the thing you love. But in the meanwhile, really embrace this and make the most of it. And she found that it did kind of change her attitude. And she found that, yeah, I don't love this, but I can see how it's really going to help me master some other things that are valuable for my career. So it's kind of an attitude adjustment. To turn on your curiosity radar and say, how can this really help me move forward?
Yeah, and I think the key word you used was victim, because you can be in those situations, and I think you're right. I think in many cases we maybe sell the opportunity short too quickly. Mm-hmm. And because you look, who advances in a company? It's people who do whatever they're doing well, right? Mm-hmm. So you might think, well, this isn't something I like, but if you do it well, you'll get other opportunities typically.
Yeah.
If it's really something you hate and it's like making life a nightmare for you, then do something about it. Do something that will change your situation. Again, don't play the victim. So right. The worst thing you can do is gripe about it, right? Because no one likes that.
Yeah, I remember early in my career, I rotated into one of the main financial units of the company. I wasn't particularly excited about financial work, but I said, okay, this will be a good learning experience. I did learn things in it. I made the time to develop a whole new documentation of the process that was really valuable for the people following me. And when I left it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I've done that. I don't really want to work in another financial area. It just isn't what I'm excited about. A few years later, I got the opportunity to go work for the boss I really wanted to work for in a very interesting operation as the financial manager, because that's the role he had open. And I didn't hesitate. I was like, yeah, financial isn't the role that's exciting to me in general, but he's the person I really want to work for. And so I didn't hesitate. I jumped to take that role. And to my surprise, I found that the financial work under him had a different attitude towards it. And it felt more important. It felt much more interesting than when I'd been in a financial area before. And so it was a really good growth experience, but it was because I went in with the right attitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess my homework for everyone would be, think about what you do. What's your first reaction when you're thrown something new that you didn't want? You know, do you ever play the victim? Or do you immediately turn your kind of curiosity radar on as to how can I make the most advantage of this and how can I do the best possible job? And, you know, it's okay to have, like you're saying, those long-term thoughts about, well, is this where I want to be a year from now, 2 years from now, and create a strategy. But in the meanwhile, what can I do to show that I can take whatever I'm given and really do an outstanding job?
Mm-hmm. Great tip, John.
So look forward to talking with you all next week.
And until then, be influential.